Welcome back to the King Films Locks for college football week 5, and let's get right into it with a recap of last week. And we went off last week, as you can see here, are the betting locks that we sent to the Discord, and we were up 5.7 units last week, so let's get into the debrief. And we started with West Virginia plus 4.5 at home against Texas Tech. Tyler Shugg goes down with a brutal leg injury. We're all praying for him there, but West Virginia is able to prevail in that one. That lock hits. Got BYU, Kansas right. Kansas ends up routing them at home. Arkansas at LSU actually comes down to a last-second field goal, but LSU does win that one, so we were correct there. Baylor plus 15, and we did not get this one right at all. Texas routes Baylor and Waco. We need to rethink some of these Baylor locks there. Then Notre Dame cashes the plus 3.5, but loses in brutal fashion. Not really sure why Ohio State decided to kick that extra point. That was a push at game time, I think, for some people. So we were lucky to get that one early, and luckily you guys did as well if you watched the video early enough. Iowa at Penn State, just 31-0 blowout. Iowa, same old Iowa offense, even with McNamara, and the defense couldn't score. 31-0. Tough environment in the whiteout game. Down a couple starters, but terrible performance for Iowa. We'll see how they can rebound in this very gettable Big Ten West. Then Oregon State at Washington State. We had the Cougars plus 3. Cam Ward played a great game. DJU tried to keep it up, but the Washington State Cougars were just too much in the Palouse, the Pac-2 championship as they coined it, and Washington State wins outright. But we'll see Oregon State this week coming back home against Utah. We'll talk about that one in just a bit. Pitt gets routed by North Carolina at home in Acrisure Stadium, and then Kansas State is able to pull away from UCF late in Big 12 play. Then on the next page, we had Clemson plus 2.5 against Florida State. Unlucky for this one not to hit for Clemson here, as they had kicker issues all week. Even brought in a graduate transfer back onto the team, missed the game-winning field goal, and they end up losing in overtime to Florida State. Great win for the Seminoles on the road in a really tough environment there. Cincinnati barely covers a plus 14.5. They were overmatched against Oklahoma, but just kept it close enough. Wyoming, we get very lucky to cover here. They block a field goal and then get the 2-point conversion to barely cover the minus 2.5. That's the first time we've gotten outright lucky this year, and we really did not deserve that one necessarily. Virginia Tech at Marshall. Marshall pulls away late to win that one. Iron Skillet, TCU takes care of business against SMU in that rivalry game. Oklahoma State made Iowa State look good, which just proves how bad it is down in Stillwater there, but Iowa State will look to keep the momentum this week. Colorado at Oregon, and we knew Oregon would win. Probably should have had a betting lock there. Easily covers the 21-point spread, and we predicted that correctly. The Colorado hype comes down, but Colorado goes back home, battle USC this week, so we'll see what happens with that one. Then UCLA at Utah. Utah minus 4.5 was a lock. Cam Rising didn't play, so the spread shrank down to 3, but they were enough to get it done. UCLA only scored 7 the whole game, 14-7 final. Pretty lazy game and tough one to watch there. Then Ole Miss at Bama. We picked Alabama to win. They ended up pulling away in the second half. Their defense looked a lot better in the second half. Milroe did not look sharp in that first half, but they pull away from Ole Miss at home for a pivotal one in what will be an up-for-grabs SEC West. Now let's get into the betting locks record. In total, we are up 8.6 units on the year, so definitely check out Discord. We just had a record-breaking day on that 5.7 unit Saturday, up 8.8 in one day with baseball added in MLB. It's the last week of MLB, so hop on that NFL season pass till February 12th. We have a special discount on it, so check out the Discord in the link on the right. And then let's get into this week's games. So let's start Friday night with Louisville and NC State. We've got NC State at home against a 4-0 Louisville team that has looked up and down these last few weeks. Louisville plays Notre Dame at home next week. I think this could be a little overlooked spot against NC State. And then you have a long week. They're looking at Notre Dame, and I think Louisville could get surprised here. This is going to be a raucous environment on the Friday night at NC State. Then another Friday game, Utah at Oregon State, which I promised to talk about. I think Oregon State can rebound and beat Utah, even if they have Rising. This Utah defense is great, but I think the Oregon State defense will really step up here with the aid of the crowd, the help of the crowd. It's almost like playing at Utah, playing at this new Reser Stadium. We'll see what it's like in action. All the fans should be rowdy for that one. This is the best team they've had in a while. USC at Colorado. I like Colorado to keep it close at first, but a 10 local kickoff means this will not be as good of a fan environment as it would have been if it was after dark. Tickets for this one are still going for $300 for the cheapest seats. I like USC to win. I like Colorado to keep it close, at least at first. We'll see if this USC defense can do anything after they were surprisingly close to ASU last week. But I like Colorado to bounce back just a bit, at least at the start, giving USC a scare there. Florida at Kentucky. I'm actually going to take Kentucky to shock Florida here. It's an interesting spot for Florida. Tough road environment. I'm not really sure about Kentucky so far, but they are a slight favorite in this game, so I guess I'll be going with Kentucky here. But we'll have to see what happens there. And then Texas A&M and Arkansas in the Southwest Classic. I like Arkansas. They've really got a fire under them right now. Rocket Sanders might be back for KJ Jefferson. That might be the piece they need to take down this decent Texas A&M team coming off the win over Auburn at the neutral site here. Sam Pittman will get his guys going for that one. And then Clemson and Syracuse. I like Clemson to win narrowly here. It's a tough road environment, but Clemson's coming off the bounce back after that brutal loss against FSU. I think Dabo will get his guys going, but I think Syracuse is pretty good this year. Already have the road win at Purdue. Just played Army, so they should be well rested. It'll be a tough environment in the Dome as always, and I like Syracuse to give them a good game. So now let's move on to the second page of locks, and we'll have our lock of the week here. Georgia at Auburn. Auburn looked terrible. Couldn't really do anything last week, whether it was Ashford or Thorne, the MSU transfer. They could not do anything against Texas A&M. The defense actually scored more than their offense. I like Georgia to win it there on the Plains. Michigan at Nebraska, very similar one here. Tough environment, but Michigan is just outmatching Jeff Sims in this Nebraska team here. Nebraska can keep the turnovers down. Maybe their defense can keep them in it for a while. Same thing with Auburn, but I like Michigan to win that one on the road in a tough environment there. Then Texas against Kansas at home. This is yet another test for this Texas team before they go into the Red River Showdown next week. Maybe this is an overlooked game, but after that already happened against Wyoming, I like them to take care of business against this now ranked Jayhawk team. Kansas has looked good, just beat BYU last week, but I like Ewers and Texas to take down Daniels and the Jayhawks there. Ole Miss at LSU. I think LSU's been a little fraudulent. Let's go over their games. They lost to FSU pretty handily, then beat a terrible Mississippi State team, and then just went down to the buzzer at home with Arkansas. So I don't know if that proves that Arkansas is decent or LSU is bad. I think that's a little bit of both. I think Ole Miss on the bounce back here. LSU just got off an emotional win. I think it's going to be too much. Going for Ole Miss, Jackson Dart, and Quinshon Judkins to get it done against Daniels in this potent LSU offense featuring neighbors there. Then Duke, Notre Dame. We're going to have Duke plus 5.5, our lock of the week for you guys against Notre Dame. This one's college game day. Even though Notre Dame lost, they actually gave Duke the college game day here, the first one in Durham ever. So I like Duke and the fans to bring it here, but we'll see. If I could have scripted it perfectly, I would have had Notre Dame win. So this would be kind of a come down, and Duke would be better, but I like Duke plus 5.5 to keep it close. I think Notre Dame probably will win, but it could be a late field goal similar to that Ohio State game, maybe a late touchdown that Duke still covers. Despite that, South Carolina at Tennessee, I don't think there's a ton to talk about here. Rattler played a perfect game against Mississippi State, and they barely won. Don't think it's going to be enough in Neyland. I think Milton will be able to rebound here after a good, easy win last week against UTSA. I like the Vols here. Then Boise State at Memphis. This is our Group 5 Madness game. Boise State traveling down to Memphis, the Memphis Bowl. I like Memphis to win at home. It's a tough environment. Boise State's offense has been on the fritz this year. I like Memphis there. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment your predictions below.